the Ferndale Board of Education being held Monday, November 16th, 2020. This is an open meeting of the public schools of Ferndale being held remotely in accordance with the Governor Gretchen Whitmer's executive order, allowing us to do so during the pandemic. This meeting is called to order at 7:04 p.m. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Dookie.
Here.
Hart.
Here.
Abraham.
Levels of knowledge, different skills.
Did I hear Abraham? Kermuller.
Here.
Latash.
Here.
O'Donnell.
Here.
President Davison.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't catch that. Is Anna here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I think she was going to be missing the meeting tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I will lead the meeting in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Sorry, I'm adjusting here. Item 1.3 on the agenda, the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any amendments they would like to make to the agenda? All right, seeing none, the agenda will be approved as is, which takes us to item 2.1, the Ferndale Student Representatives. Is Jeanne with us? High School?
Mr. Davison, don't think she's going to make it. She was one of the people who unfortunately lost her power. So she told me she'd try to make it, but she may not have been able to. But Jaslyn, I think Jaslyn is here. And she's going to go in her place if she's here.
All right.
Jaslyn's here.
Jaslyn, would you like to address the board tonight?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Jaslyn Coles, and I'm the junior representative at UHS. So my report of the current events at UHS are as follows. On October 26th, the senior night of our girls volleyball team ended victoriously, along with tears of joy and hard work from the seniors and their loved ones. We would like to congratulate and thank our class of 2021 for an amazing season. We, on October 29th, had our PSAT, which gave everybody a chance to to collaborate with some of their peers, and also do so in a distance and well-orderly fashion and get down to business. We concluded our October festivities with trunk or treat held at UHS. It was a chilly afternoon, but we stayed warm by eating lots of sugar, sharing laughs, and making memories through these difficult times. Unfortunately, with Governor Whitmer's new set of rules, we will have to suspend winter sports for 3 weeks. It started last week on Wednesday. And as far as an update on how school is going, we have now at UHS, we have school on Fridays. It's a speed schedule. A lot of students are getting acclimated to the new schedule. It's going pretty smoothly, and virtual learning has been pretty good. That concludes my report for tonight. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaslyn. Is Kai Walker with us from Ferndale High School?
Good evening, I am here. Hi.
Good evening.
There's a board, so let me pull up my Google Doc. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kai Walker. I'm the senior advisor at Ferndale High School, and I'll be giving you a rundown of upcoming events and past events that are going on at Ferndale this month. So first, I'd like to start off and say that the senior advisors for the senior class at FHS are looking for suggestions from the seniors on how to remain connected and even possibly plan a safe socially distanced events for the future, hopefully during second semester, after winter has passed and after the rules that Gretchen Whitmer passed are past due, and when the rates of COVID are lower. Some suggestions include a drive-in movie, which in my opinion sounds great and sounds like that could be a lot of fun in order to get us together and stay connected. Our FHS girls volleyball team won districts, and I've talked to a couple of the teammates, girls. They were really, really happy and really, really proud of a good victorious end to their season. This year, the district will be paying for senior cap and gowns and graduation photos as a parting gift to our hardworking seniors at FHS. Graduation photos, like the date is to be determined at the moment, but hopefully it will occur sometime within the second semester. Monthly giveaways are still underway. So many things like planners, masks, and pens have been given away in the past. This month's new addition is a camera cover, and that will be our next giveaway for this month. After this giveaway for November, our next giveaway will be December 11th, and that addition will be water bottles. On the way are backpacks, hand sanitizers, and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're really excited, so make sure you guys grab your gear and show off that Eagle Pride. Learning labs are still underway. Time and dates are located on the Ferndale High School website, and adjustments will be made according to the rules that our governor recently instated. That is all I have for you tonight, and thank you.
Thank you, Kai. Does anybody have any questions for Kai? Thank you so much. That will take us to agenda item 3.1, the Superintendent's Excellence Award.
Good evening, everyone. I have two students that we'll be honoring this evening. I hope that you received your awards. We mailed them. I know the post office has been a little delayed, but I hope that you did receive them. If not, they will be coming in the next day or so, hopefully. So again, we have two recipients this month. I'm gonna start with Miss Kiera Wallace, who is a student at TCEC. She was nominated by Miss Erica Bauer. So I'm gonna share a little bit of Miss Bauer's submission on behalf of Kiera. Kiera currently has an A+ in my class. She has never missed a Google Meet session. She participates in class chats, discussions, and asks questions inside and outside of class. She strives to work hard at every opportunity. She stands out at TCEC for being a positive role model. She has adapted well to the shift to the virtual learning and continues to strive, excelling in all she does. Having a student like Kiera in a virtual classroom helps me be a better teacher because I can tell she is fully committed and eager to learn. Kiera has personal initiative, a strong voice, enjoys playing basketball and video games. Kiera, we are really proud of you and happy that you're being able to excel under these circumstances, and that not only are you taking care of the things you need to do for yourself, but you're impacting those around you at TCEC, striving them to do better and succeed as well. Ms. Bauer, if there's anything you'd like to add, I'd invite you at this point to say a few words.
I just would like to reiterate that really Kiera kind of makes the Google Classroom work. The kind of student that when she's in class, it encourages others to participate, and it really makes this worthwhile for me. So I'm really proud of her for always coming and for really giving her all. She's the first one in the meeting and the last one to leave. So congratulations, Kiera.
So Kiera, it's with great pleasure that you received the Superintendent's Excellence Award for the month of November. So if you're with us, I invite you to unmute yourself and please feel free to say a couple words.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. I wish we were in person. We'd take a picture with you, but you'll give us an IOU and eventually we'll be able to meet in person. But thank you for all you do. All right, next we have Mr. Nicholas Foreman, who was nominated by Miss Bridget Guerra. I'm going to read a little bit about her submission and kind of follow the same suit. Nick was one of my top students as an 8th grade student. He always took initiative and took opportunity and worked tirelessly as a student. He is continuing to excel at Ferndale High School, taking honors and AP courses, as well as enjoying being a student athlete by participating in soccer this year. Nick's enthusiasm for learning and self-motivation are contagious. He has worked really hard, and I believe his efforts should be recognized. Nicholas enjoys skateboarding, video games, and soccer. So Ms. Guerra, if you can share a few words, we'd greatly appreciate that.
I just want to say that I'm really, really proud of Nick. I know that he has worked really hard, not only in my class last year, but he is continuing that this year with the increased workload. Again, I just want to emphasize he went from an 8th grade math to a 10th grade honors math in 1 year. So ginormous growth and determination, all while keeping up his studies and sports and friends. And I know he helps with family projects, and so he's just an all-around great kid. He's the kid who gets a 29 out of 30 and wants to know how can he do better to get that one more point. So I applaud that determination and look forward to seeing what kind of great things he accomplishes in his future.
Thank you. We appreciate your submission. Nicholas Foreman, it's with great pleasure that you received the Superintendent's Excellence Award for the month of November. If you'd like to say a few words, please unmute yourself.
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Guerra, because I wouldn't have done this without you, and it's really been a big help, not only this year, but last year, and with the algebra and everything. It's really a big help, and thank you for your help. Thank you, Ms. Guerra.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Well, congratulations, both Nicholas and Kiera, on your superintendent awards for the month of November. Thank you for your contributions to the district. That takes us to item 4 on the agenda, the building presentation for the month from FECC.
All right, Miss Heidi Schmidt is with us from FECC. I am going to share my screen, and then Heidi, just let me know when to progress on a slide, and we'll go from there. We look forward to hearing from you.
Sounds good. Good evening, everyone. So usually, first of all, I hope that everyone is, staying healthy and is doing wonderful with their family, especially with the new guidelines that have come down. So usually when, as admin, we sign up for the building presentations, I honestly typically go later in the year because then I feel I have a lot more to share with everybody. But this year I decided, when looking at the new strategic plan, we had so many good things happening already. And I said, I'm going to sign up early this year because I know that we're going to have so many wonderful things to share. And then 2020 came, and here we are, met with a completely different school year, and so many things have been changing just by the day. But I do want to say that I'm just proud of the progress that we're making on the strategic plan, and even with the challenges that are being, put in front of us every single day and changing, with how much good that we're doing at the building. So I'm excited to be here today and share what's happening in the world of early childhood. So we can go to the next slide, Danya. So to start, I just wanted to give an overview of our enrollment as it stands this year. As expected with the current situation, enrollment isn't as high as it normally is. A lot of families are choosing to keep their families at home. And others, are choosing, daycare options that have a full day program at this point. But right now we are sitting with 34 Head Start students, 14 GSRP students. Our Little Eagles program is at 26 and our ECSE is with 13 students. It's about 50% capacity as to what we have in a typical school year. But all classrooms and programs do have continual enrollment going on right now. Okay, we can go to the next slide. I just wanted to share an overview right now of what our current program is looking at with those students. Many of you already know, but on Monday we have a completely virtual program offering that's happening, and we have a synchronous large group that our students participate in. And then in the afternoon, they have individually scheduled one-on-one time with their teacher or associate teacher. And during that time, they're working on targeted skills, needs that families or teachers have identified, or just that really important foundation of relationship building that we spend so much time building during the school year. And during this virtual situation, it's probably that more important and that much more difficult to maintain. But I think all of the teachers are doing a great job. And this individualization scheduled time that you see on Mondays and Wednesdays really helps to support that. Every day, Monday through Thursday, every day, Monday through Thursday, teachers are uploading individualized targeted lessons in Seesaw for families to work through. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do have our mini day option, and that is where we have small groups of students for families that are comfortable actually coming into the building and getting what they would on a full day schedule, just squeezed down into a 2-hour session. So that happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesdays, we have again virtual synchronous small group instruction, as well as that individualization time in the afternoon. And then on Fridays, you're going to see our teacher office hours that are used for meeting with families to see how we can support them better, as well as planning for these individualization sessions for students throughout the week. I just wanted to share a few pictures of our students during the mini day session. When we started, about 70% of our families were choosing to participate in the mini day session. In early childhood, masks are not required, although strongly encouraged. So you'll see that many of our kids are wearing them. Some of them choose to wear them all the time. Some are wearing them, as much as a 3 or 4-year-old can handle at one point. But it is not required at this time. But with our small group sizes, students are able to social distance a little easier. But these are just some pictures during our mini day options. As I stated, about 70% of our families chose to participate in the beginning. About 2 weeks ago, it was down to 50%, and I know with the current numbers, we are tending to see a little bit of dwindling in our numbers, but do still have families that are participating in these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have made an effort and provided pop-up opportunities for our families. Usually we have one of our biggest events, which is our trunk or treat in the fall. We didn't feel it was safe to do that this year. So this year we had a safe, socially distanced pumpkin painting pop-up in our parking lot, and it was limited to about 20 families, but it was immediately filled up right away. Families had fun, and it was really nice kind of have a sense of normalcy, have our families there and be able to interact in that way. About 2 weeks ago, we did our second pop-up of the fall, and this was our first ever story stroll. So we had set up on our playground 2 stories, pattern fish, and we're going on a bear hunt. And families were invited to come and interact and engage with the story through the playground. So they were given tasks to do as they read the story, and all of our families that participated and sent us their pictures actually are getting a copy of the book as well. So that was fun to see all of the participation in that. To share our progress on strategic planning, I have chosen one objective from each category or pillar to kind of focus on what we've been doing. So for the first one, under the empowerment pillar, the objective being to expand upon opportunities that examine, motivate, and ensure physical, mental, and nutritional health and overall wellness for students, family, and staff members. Things that we can speak to that we have done this year, in partnership with the challenges that the COVID 2020 school year is providing us with. We have signed up, and all of our newly hired staff are participating in Trauma Smart training. This is something that the whole entire early childhood staff has participated in, so it was important to us that we ensured that all new staff also got all of that training as well. Myself, along with our building social worker and our grant program coordinator, are preparing our Trauma Smart parent component, which is called Smart Connections. We have a whole parent university training session that we are putting together with make and takes that has to do with Trauma Smart and things like that we feel is very important, especially during this time, and we plan to implement that during the winter in second semester. And then we did just also, we're really excited about the fact that we purchased a greenhouse for our yards to supplement the nutritional curriculum and support the district wellness plan as well. So we're really excited to get that on the schoolyard and start incorporating that in our curriculum next year. Under excellence, the objective I chose to focus on tonight and share with you is to improve upon diverse and culturally responsive school practices while supporting staff through professional development. This is something that we have been really focusing on this year. On staff professional development, we have been weekly almost participating in a NACCE book study that is utilizing the book Each and Every Child, Teaching Preschool with an Equity Lens, as well as participating in webinars from the Early Childhood Mental Health consultation programming. So topics that we've already covered this year are examining teacher biases, developing empathy, valuing diversity, connecting culture and play, culturally responsive STEAM curriculum, and the root causes of disparities in childhood outcomes. The third one for environment, the objective is to expand upon the incorporation of relevant and instructionally sound technology to support the educational experience of all learners. This one is actually, I guess something, if COVID really helped us with this one, because we had no choice but to start looking at how to developmentally appropriate to incorporate technology in a developmentally appropriate way. It is something that is important, obviously, just in society and what our children are growing up with. But in early childhood, we also tend to walk a thin line with what's appropriate and what's not. We want children to have the ability to play and not be behind a screen all the time. So how do we provide them with exposure, but not have it take over curriculum? So this is something that we've really been looking at. What we have done since the beginning of this year is for the building, for all programs, we have purchased 2 interactive smart boards that all programs and classrooms will be able to utilize once we are in the building. We are at the point now where we have purchased iPads at a 1-to-1 ratio. So every student in our building will have an iPad at their disposal. At this time, it's obviously being offered to families for support in distance learning. However, when we get back into the buildings, it is going to support with listening stations in the classroom and small group instruction and individualization when that happens. And then we have extended the usage of technology-based platforms that are used in upper grades for early childhood. So IXL and Seesaw, these programs that you're seeing in the K-12, we've also been able to implement at the early childhood level to be able to individualize and target where students need support, but also to supplement those kids that just need a little bit more to push them a little further along, especially while we are remote. And then obviously we've got the whole school year ahead of us. So we've got a lot of things on our plate that we're working with. The things that we're going to be focusing on is to continue to work with the district on improvement plans for our indoor and outdoor environments. So here I've shared just a few pictures of our gym as it has been updated. It looks amazing and like a whole new environment. So if you remember or know what it looked like before, I'm sure you can tell from the pictures. But when it's safe, I encourage you to come by and see it because it is so awesome. We've got bike tracks for the kids. We've got numbered stones to line up in. We've got an amazing rock wall that takes the whole entire gym wall up. So it's so cool. So we're going to continue working on that. And we are also working on improvements to the outdoor playground, which is very exciting. Other things we're going to work on throughout the rest of the year are going to be looking at our enrollment prioritization, specifically for our tuition-based program, and wanting to put a lot more focus on prioritizing Ferndale residents. The last few years, it's been first come, first serve. So we want to make sure that our Ferndale residents are getting an opportunity to enroll if that's something that they're choosing to do. So that's something we're working on. We're working on creating a more uniform and streamlined student achievement team process. More so just making sure that everybody is using the same metrics and forms to collect data so that when we're looking at things, it's just easier to compare and make sure that we're acting appropriately with data. We're working on creating our online social emotional library resource for staff. This will include forms, visuals, books, things like that that they can use to support their SEL curriculum. Really looking at the SEL curriculum that is being used in elementary too and kind of reflecting that. And then continuing to support our local partnerships, especially during this time. We have a virtual pop-up that we're planning with CrossFit HCS, which is a local gym that we have been working with for 2 or 3 years that the kids really enjoy working with. We continually share events that are appropriate for our families, that the library is putting on. We've made purchases from Modern Natural Baby to support our distance learning kits. So we just want to make sure that we're continuing to support local Ferndale businesses that, do support us throughout the school year as well. And I believe that wraps it up for tonight.
Wonderful job, Heidi. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. It's great to hear about so many diverse things that are happening at FECC despite our current circumstances. And especially, the work that's being done to carry out the strategic plan at FECC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that will take us to item 5 on the agenda, public comment. This is the time for public participation in the meeting. The Board of Education intends for the public to have many opportunities to address the board and administration of the school district. We welcome individual and group input into the important issues that confront our schools. Please recognize that an effective meeting facilitates better decisions and promotes openness by allowing more people to stay for the full length of the meeting. When we begin comments, please identify yourself and mention if you'd like to be followed up, if you would like the district to follow up with you. Each person will have the opportunity to address the board for up to 3 minutes. The Vice President, Sandra Dukey, will give you a notification when you're approaching the end of your time, if you are approaching up to 3 minutes. The period of public comment is for both non-agenda and agenda items. The public comments will end at the close of this part of the agenda. In the event that the public comment period is about to last more than 30 minutes, the public comment will be temporarily postponed, and we'll add public comment to the end of the meeting. Please keep in mind that complaints about staff should be made outside of board meetings and should follow the applicable board policy. Please contact the superintendent's office if you have any questions regarding this item. The board cannot respond to complaints about employees in public. This is meant to promote fairness to the staff person and the complainant. And finally, the Ferndale Public Schools community acts with great civility toward one another. Please help us to maintain that tradition during public comment. So if you'd like to address the board tonight, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and we will get started.
Can I go first?
Certainly.
President Davison and the school board, let me introduce myself. My name is Kathy Durand, and I'm a school bus driver for 25 years, and I'm currently the president for the AFSCME group over at the transportation facility. I first wanted to express a thank you to Teresa and Jamie at the beginning of the school year for meeting with the union to hear about our cares and concerns with safety during the COVID in our facility. Along with that, I would like to express gratitude to my supervisor, Cheryl, and Jamie for continuing to supply us with proper PPE and cleaning supplies so that we can do what's necessary during this time that we're in. And lastly, I'd like to show appreciation to Teresa for meeting with me about hazard pay for our group. And a thank you to Danya and the school board for approving that hazard pay for our group. I wanted to let you guys know that we appreciate it, and I realize you guys have put a lot of time and consideration into how this school year is going to be run. And I know that's a difficult task. And I know it hasn't been easy, but I just want to let you know from our group that we appreciate the time and effort that you've put into it and the consideration you've given our group. And that's all.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
If you'd like to address the board, just please unmute yourself and go right ahead. Okay, we will going once. We will close the public comment portion of the meeting, which brings us to agenda item 6, the consent agenda for tonight. Item 6.1, the request to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 19th, 2020. Item 6.2, the request to approve minutes of the special meeting held October 5th, 2020. 6.3, the request to approve bills and accounts for the month of October. Item 6.4, the request to approve resignations, leave of absences, and new hires. And item 6.5, the request to approve the Head Start Director's Report. Do any board members have any items they'd wish to pull from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move.
Moved by Sandra and seconded by
Second.
Jim. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd?
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Kermuller.
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the consent agenda is approved, which brings us to the action agenda items for the night. Agenda item 7.1, the extended COVID-19 learning plan, November reconfirmation hearing.
All right, I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll share it for a large portion of the meeting so that the public can see the attachments. As you know, each month we have to recertify our COVID learning plan. And we do this. I'm going to hand this off to Ms. Marakna, our Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction. After she goes over the ECOL plan, I'll share kind of the finalized metrics that we'll be discussing in terms of the eventual return to in-person learning. That's not being approved at this particular meeting, but we're just sharing it on the same agenda item. So I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Marakna.
Good evening. This month is a pretty easy plan because we have not changed anything since last month until this upcoming Wednesday, when we will have small changes to our plan based on last night's announcement by the governor. But the current plan will continue as it is. We will continue to offer in-person learning for special ed students and ELL learners. We will continue to offer a robust distance learning program for all of our students. And we will have general ed learning labs available with the same hours that they have been available for students who need connectivity, food, warmth, or other services that are offered within the school. Each month we have public comments from previous board meetings that were related to returning to in-person learning. So those are always listed here. And the final part of the document shows our success with two-way interactions, which is how we're taking attendance this year for students. So you can see that we have had very high two-way attendance rates across the district, and that's an average for all of our schools. So students are attending, they are participating, and they are completing those two-way communications, which can involve turning in an assignment, showing up to a synchronous class, or office hours that are scheduled with a teacher. So we're doing well with our attendance as well. So that's it for this month's extended COVID learning plan.
All right, so moving to the metric, there were some discussions, and the board had requested a metric be put together to kind of highlight the parameters of returning to in-person school. Again, as we discussed near the end of October, when we were at a sustained level C, we began the planning process to try and bring back some elementary. Unfortunately, within a 3-day span, we moved from a level C to a level E within Oakland County Health's COVID scale. And so that put our plans, on hold. So basically, what we have here is a metric that we will use as a guide in terms of determining when it's safe to bring back in-person instruction. This is something that we'll discuss pretty much at every board meeting from now until our eventual return, because as we know, the landscape changes very quickly, and we need time to be able to discuss this as a team and allow time for public input as well. So the metric is I'm going to try and make it bigger. I apologize. I know when you share a screen, it's not as big as we'd like. Basically, what we are looking at is the metric below that, looks for a 14-day plus downward trend with the county at sustained level 3 for 3 weeks. The district to shift from a virtual to an in-person model, it would require some planning. It would require some hiring of staff if need be. When you're running 2 concurrent programs, because we know that there's a large portion of our population who wants to come back. There's a large portion of our population that wants to stay virtual, and offering 2 distinct programs is a little bit difficult. So the planning, it's not that we're not able to do it, we are, but we want to make sure that we have a plan in place to ensure that that's being done. First priority would be to elementary, because we've seen that the transmission rates in the county at the younger age students is a lot lower, whereas at the high school level, it's very high. And that's why we've seen all in-person instruction be suspended for high school students across the state based on the governor's words yesterday. So basically, here's the risk level. Basically, anything in low risk or A and B, we would have plans to have students return in with the following metric in the middle column in terms of cases per million and the percent positivity. And then C is kind of where we were. That's when we started really to consider, hybrid or in-person. Sorry, this should be, I'm going to change it right now. It should be 3 weeks of sustained level C for 3 weeks. And again, we just put this together to get board feedback, but it's working twofold in terms of looking at it. So hybrid or in-person can be considered. Again, first priority is learning lab supports, special education services, pre-K-5, and then third priority would be 6-12. It's not to say that the second and third priority couldn't come to fruition, but these would be the priority, and then we'd move obviously into this phase once we're at a sustained level. When we get to D and E, that's where we'd stay remote. Currently, we're in level E, which is the worst possible rating according to the Oakland County. That's a 20 or greater percent positivity. And we know that through this winter, the numbers most likely will continue to go in the wrong direction, unfortunately. This is where we're at. I'd ask the board any feedback you have. We can take a look at it. This is what the team has put together. Obviously, there's no perfect metric for this. A lot of it is you have to look at the data and then make a determination in terms of what's best for your community. One thing I can say is that, even with schools by where I live, schools in Oakland County, they tried to come back at elementary, and a lot of them now are having to shift in terms of going in person and out of person. And from a personal experience, that's very difficult to have your student in a virtual environment, to go back to school for 2.5 weeks, only to be told that, again, you're in a virtual environment. I just ask for patience and understanding from the community that the board, myself, and the administration and the teachers, we really are taking this into consideration. We want the least amount of disruption to a student's sense of routine. And so sitting here now in November and December, and again, I don't want to speak for the board, but it's why they approved a plan through first semester. I think they understood that this was a strong possibility, and they wanted to ensure continuity for our students. And this is why, this is where we're at, and a lot of schools in a similar position as of today. Questions, comments, concerns from the board?
I appreciate you, pulling this together, and for me, just to underscore that, of course, the risk level at any given point in time is just a snapshot. So obviously, if we're rapidly improving and at level D, that's a good sign. If C is going to B and so forth, versus the other way around. So, there is a lot to take into consideration. And I also do want to point out that the letter grades are rather generous. This is like grad school grading a little bit. Like level C is really pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I think we're willing to plan for that level, plan for a return at level C, even though it's pretty bad.
I want to thank you for putting this together. I know this is a constantly moving target, and that there's always new things for us to consider and to look at, but it's helpful to have it in a document of something that we are all considering, so that we can keep this in one spot to look at. So I know that there's nothing is set in stone, but this gives us a really good basis to make our decision and our plan moving forward. So thanks.
Yeah, and thank you. It was a team effort. Thank you to Bill Good and Johanna. We were all working from a Google Doc, and you could see all three of us in at the same time. So I appreciate them and the urgency for us to be able to have a quick turnaround.
I imagine like some other folks, I see my children in front of screens, and occasionally I have pangs of grief. I just want to name that, and I too appreciate the work that's gone into this, and we want to want to have students in school face-to-face when we can. And so, like it said, we will be discussing this monthly during both the committee of the whole as well as this regular board meeting. And, you know, want to get to a place where it's reasonable. And hopefully at this point, they're not talking about any more spikes. They're only talking about vaccines. So, you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we will be good citizens and protect, you know, do what we can to protect against the spread of the virus. So thank you, Dr. Bazzi and your team for putting together this metric that will help to guide us. Any other board questions or comments? All right, well, thank you both, Dr. Bazzi and Ms. Marakna for sharing that with us. Is there a motion to approve agenda item 7.1, the extended COVID-19 learning plan, which just again, that's not the metric is not part of that.
I'll move. Second.
Moved by Jennifer and seconded by Sandra. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Hart.
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Latosh,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the item 7.1, the extended COVID-19 learning plan is approved, which brings us to agenda item 7.2, the request to approve the second semester schools of choice, UHS and TCEC.
So we have Mr. Bill Good. I'll hand it off to him to speak to this agenda item.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Just a couple of school of choice things to go on for second semester this year. One is you can see there on the screen for University High School in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. You can see the numbers there for students that we're going to accept. We traditionally don't get that many applications for second semester, but that's how many we would accept if they did apply. It would be unlimited students at the Tri-County Education Center because, again, that's all virtual anyway, not that we're not all virtual anyway. And then for Ferndale High School, we did have on the agenda 5 students in 9th grade and 5 students in 10th grade. We are down a little bit this year attendance-wise or enrollment-wise, I should say, at Ferndale High School. So this would help us start to get a little bit of a head start on recouping some of those losses for next school year. And with that, I'm open to your questions.
I don't have any questions. Is there a motion to approve 7.2, the request to approve second semester school of choice?
I move.
Moved by
Second.
Sandra and seconded by Jim. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Mueller,
Yes.
Latosh,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the request to approve second semester school of choice is approved, which brings us to agenda item 7.3, the request to allow employee dependents to enroll in Ferndale Public Schools.
Yeah, this is a policy that we had previously. At some point when we did a policy update, it fell off the books, so to speak. and we just noticed that, so we just wanted to add it back. We have some new language, but it essentially says the same thing as previous. It just kind of clarifies a few things. But again, this is something that we've been doing previously, but we just wanted to make sure when we noticed that it was no longer listed within our policies that we got it added as quickly as we could.
Is there a motion to approve agenda item 7.3, the request to allow employee dependents to enroll in Ferndale Public Schools?
I'll move.
Moved by Nan
I'll second.
and seconded by Jackie. Any questions or further discussion?
I don't have a question, but I'm glad we're putting it back in the policies.
I'll second that.
Yes, we want to, Ferndale family should include the family of staff people. So glad that this is being rectified. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the request to allow employee dependents to enroll in Ferndale Public Schools is approved, which brings us to agenda item 7.4, the request to approve technology purchases in response to COVID.
So this evening we have, we don't have Jeff with us today because this is the same proposal that he reviewed with the board at the committee of the whole. We have additional COVID funds that must be expended by December 30th of this year. Luckily, materials don't have to be on site, but we have to be, we have to enter into purchase agreements to be able to expend those dollars. What this will do for the district is it will allow the district to pretty much get to a one-to-one device within the district so that every classroom can be equipped with the appropriate technology, whether it be iPads or Chromebooks. So this is kind of our last order. It allows us also to replace some of the TCEC Chromebooks, knowing that we've put out over 2,000 plus devices into the community to ensure people have devices and internet access. We have to expect that some of those will be damaged, not returned, due to them being Chromebooks. So there's going to be wear and tear on them. And this will allow the district to ensure that when we do return to and-learn, we'll have all of our technology needs met. So this should be one of our last big orders in terms of it. We've been doing it in pieces, but this is kind of the last thing that will really ensure that the district is one-to-one next year when students are back. Oh, and sorry, all of these are purchased with COVID relief grant dollars, so non-general fund expenditures.
Is there a motion to approve agenda item 7.4, the request to approve technology purchases in response to COVID?
I move. Second.
Moved by Jackie and seconded by Sandra. Questions or discussion?
Again, I don't have any questions. I'm just glad that we're up in our inventory to make sure our students have what they need.
Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, item 7.4, the request to approve technology purchases in response to COVID is approved. That brings us to agenda item 7.5, the request to approve the audit for the 2019-2020 school year.
So I'm going to hand this off to Nancy, but before I do, Nancy is one of the most humble people I've ever worked with in my career. Each year we go into the audit, and honestly, I have absolutely no worries because I know that she's going to lead us through generally an unmodified audit, which means no findings. And even if there are findings, she's going to ensure that we have corrective actions to ensure that we, continually improve. As a district, her and her team, Dawn, Erin, Patty, and Linda work tirelessly to ensure accuracy and ethics within our finance department. And we don't celebrate that often enough with the busy day-to-day interaction. So I'm going to let her just share a little bit. Again, the majority, we went over the audit report as well as the presentation. Plant Moran attended our last committee of the whole meeting and provided a detailed presentation. But I'd like Nancy just to say a few words about the audit process and where the district is at financially.
Thank you, Danya. As Danya just mentioned, our audit partner made a presentation last week at the Committee of the Whole. We did receive an unmodified opinion that used to be called a clean opinion this year. And I do want to go ahead and I want to thank my staff. This was the first time we've ever done an audit completely online. The auditors didn't step foot in our building. They remained in their homes, and we they have a software actually that works really well where we load all the documents and they can review everything. So it was pretty seamless. It went really well. And I just want to thank my staff. They really did a really nice job doing this for the first time. Never having experience with this type of audit before. And it really went well. So I wouldn't mind if we did it that way again. It was okay. So anyway, so this is the audit. We did add to the fund balance this year. Although, we had thought we were going to add a little more, but with the reduction of 175 a student, we weren't able to add as much as we thought. Again, that isn't our goal to add. Our goal here is to educate children. So we're trying to keep it, just that maybe we just add a little or break even. That would be our goal most of the time. But we did add a little bit. But in this very difficult and precarious situations that we seem to be in right now, it is nice to have a fund balance that we can rely on in case of any unexpected surprises that may be thrown at us. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions?
Well done, Nancy. This is tough work, especially in this past 6 months that the auditors were in, and last year wrapped up and the new year started. So I think it's a testament to the fact that you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
I just want to second when Jim says, this will be my my last audit with you being on the board. And it's just been amazing to watch you lead us through this every year without any issues, and to have full faith in you has been really wonderful. So yay, Nancy, good job.
Thanks, Nan. We'll miss you.
I think I know that obviously I've been on the board a shorter time than Nan, but it's been made clear to me what an enormous amount of work this is. And oftentimes folks that are part of the district in various ways we just don't recognize all the work that goes into making this whole thing run so smoothly. So we really appreciate your work, and that unmodified opinion is the highest opinion. And so we're grateful for that as a district. I'm grateful for all your hard work. Is there a motion to approve the request to approve the audit for the 2019-2020 school year?
I move.
Moved by Sandra and seconded by
I'll second.
Jackie.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Permuller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
President Davison.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the request to approve the audit for the 2019-2020 school year is approved. That brings us to agenda item 7.6, the request to approve Time Clock Plus.
Sorry, I'm going to hand it over to our Director of Communications, Teresa Volcano, to share a little bit. Again, we went over this at the Committee of the Whole in depth, but she'll share an overview as well as the attachments are included in the board packet.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. The current, as mentioned in the Committee of a Whole, our current time card process is 100% manual collection and entry for our hourly employees. There's quite a bit of work that goes into getting that information into our system, getting the accurate information to us, and a lot of things that go with that. The time clocks that we are requesting for approval will help us streamline that process from the buildings with our employees, where it's a seamless transition, hopefully, that they'll be able to just use their badge to swipe. It'll be a touchless system, and the system will allow us to download directly into our current payroll system and alleviate a lot of time for the process. So we're recommending that the board approve the purchase of 7 time clocks with thermal sensors and a 5-year licensing and a support agreement.
Is there a motion to approve the request to approve Time Clock Plus?
I'll move.
Moved.
I'll second.
Jen and seconded by Nan. Questions or discussion? We talked about this quite a bit during our last Committee of the Whole meeting. It sounds like it's clear that the current manual process is very laborious, and there's room for issues, and that this time clocks will make it hopefully a lot easier for everybody involved. So Teresa, I appreciate this. I'm sure your staff would appreciate it.
Thank you.
With no questions or comments, is there a motion to approve Time Clock Plus?
We did the motion. We just need to do the roll call.
Oh, I already did the motion. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Hart,
Yes.
Termueller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the request to approve Time Clock Plus is approved, which brings us to agenda item 7.7, the request to approve the tentative agreement with AFSCME.
So again, I'm going to hand this off to Ms. Volcano.
So this tentative agreement follows a bargaining that we had with our full contract where we had a pilot language for how to calculate the sick, personal, and vacation days for the AFSCME group. After that pilot, we were to meet and kind of fine tune and tweak a few things. So the bolded language here is the language that we will, that we're requesting on the tentative agreement so that we can identify what hours from transportation's route is included when we calculate those sick and personal vacation time.
And you've stated this is the tentative agreement between the two groups.
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the tentative agreement with AFSCME?
I move.
Moved by Jackie and seconded by
I'll second.
thank you. Jennifer, any questions, discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Termueller,
Yes.
Latash,
Yes.
O'Donnell,
Yes.
Dookie,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the tentative agreement with AFSCME is approved, which brings us to agenda item 7.8, the request to approve bus purchases.
Going to hand this over to our Director of Operations, Mr. Jamie Stottlemyre.
Good evening. Danya, can you scroll down to the bus replacement schedule?
Yes.
Okay, so, years ago we had budget issues, so we began leasing half of our fleet, well, almost half. We have 13 buses, and 6 of them have been in a lease cycle for quite a few years now. Our goal is to get us out of leasing and into ownership. So we budgeted $1.2 million in the current construction bond for bus replacement, and that is going to be spaced out over the 3 series of bond. So what we've done here is created a bus replacement schedule. This will take us 5 years out to 2025. So what we're looking to do in this first cycle is to purchase 6 buses to replace the 6 that are coming off of lease. Those are going to be off lease on June 30th of this year. So we want to make sure that we start to get into this purchase cycle. We're going to be using bond funds to buy these first 6 buses. Later in the spring, I'm going to come to you with the request for 1 more bus, and you'll see that is going to be on July 1st. Once that new budget opens up, we're going to actually keep the lease amount that we have in the current budget for next year. We're going to keep that and use that to purchase the 7th bus, and then we'll continue then on this replacement cycle. Now, this will take us through 2025, and then so in 2023, we have another $200,000 in the bond to buy buses. And then in 2026, in the 3rd series of the bond, we'll have another $400,000. So this bus replacement cycle will then be updated at that point to incorporate those the new buses. But the issue is that we've been continuously leasing the same 6 buses. In the meantime, our other 7 buses are starting to get older. We're starting to see more problems with them. They're becoming problematic. So we want to get to a point where we're getting into a cycle of replacing 1 or 2 buses a year so that our fleet is continuously maintained and continuously replaced, which we think will be beneficial to the district. So what we're looking to do here is to purchase 6 buses out of bond funds. We're using the Michigan Schools Business Official Bus Purchasing Program, which is a competitive bid system that most districts use in the state. It compares all the 3 main bus manufacturers and the pricing for each. We're using Holland Bus, which is a Bluebird chassis, and those are the least expensive buses out of the 3 manufacturers. Now, the prices for buses have gone up quite a bit, and I was talking to the manufacturers, and that's because this new batch of buses actually has stability control. And oddly enough, you'd think for a 40-foot long vehicle, this would have been in there a long time ago, but they have backup cameras now. So that is something new that they've added to the buses. So it is increasing the price. But to replace those 6 buses, we have 2 special ed and 4 general ed. So you can see the total there, and that is off that competitive bid pricing. So the total purchase would be $569,000, $688,000, and that is using bond proceeds to buy those. Is there any questions? These are going to be gasoline buses with the Ford 6.8 liter V10 engines in them, because we find that those are much less expensive to repair and maintain than the diesel engines.
Jamie, thanks for that. I have a quick question. So the buses that we retire, do we sell them, and then what would, we would just roll that money back into the fund to buy future buses?
That's correct. Any of them, well, the 6 leases, obviously the lease that expires on June 30th, those go back to the dealership. But then from that point on, as soon as we replace one, we will be putting it up on auction to sell, and then we will roll that money back into the transportation department.
Okay, thank you.
But I'll keep this spreadsheet updated so everybody knows exactly where we're at with that.
It's really helpful to see the visual of our fleet, and I really appreciate that there's a staggered plan that makes sense for maintaining our fleet, as well as ensuring that we're constantly monitoring and saving as much money as we can for the district. So
yeah, because in our smaller district, boundary wise, we don't put a lot of miles on the buses, so it really doesn't make a lot of sense to lease them. We can get at least 10 years out of these buses, so economically it's less expensive to own them.
I appreciate your attention to detail with this, Jamie.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the bus purchases?
I move.
Moved by Jackie, I think.
Yep. And Nan, I guess.
Oh, okay. And, well, seconded by Nan. Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, Ms. Shepherd.
Latosh?
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Dookie?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes.
Vermueller?
Yes.
President Davison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With 6 yes votes, the request to approve bus purchases is passed. That takes us to agenda item 8.1, the budget to actual report.
So each month, Nancy provides us the budget to actual report. This year, it shows, a variance that we have about 78% of the budget remaining. This time last year, we had about 79.14%. The variance, and letter A, B, C, D, E is explained down here. terms of revenue that the district has received from the coronavirus relief grant. So that's why you see A impacted. The current year doesn't include the October ABM payment for letter B. Current year includes additional tech purchases over last year due to our virtual environment. Prior year included payments at this time to employees for extra assignments over their regular assignment. And letter E is prior year includes transfer from general fund to energy bond debt, not made in this current year until November. So again, we're pretty much on track. We don't see anything that's unexplained, and let's hope that there's no negative supplemental this year as there was last year. But so far, things are looking good. At the December committee of the whole meeting, Nancy will produce a rough draft of the proposed amendment to the budget for this school year. And then the board will then approve or vote on the amendment at the regular meeting in December. Nancy, did you want to add anything on this?
No, I'm good.
Good, all right.
All right, thank you. Item 9, there were no pulled consent agenda items, which brings us to item 10. Our next special board meeting is the committee of the whole meeting scheduled for Monday, December 7th, 2020. Our next regular board meeting is Monday, December 14th, 2020. And our last agenda item of the night prior to adjournment is the Eagles Points of Pride or comments for this month of November.
I'll go first. I know it's a relatively recent holiday change that we instead of celebrating what was known as Columbus Day, we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day in October. And with this month being Native American and Indigenous month, just wanted to recognize the fact that the district has been taking action to do a better job of recognizing and embracing Native American history and culture, and hope that we continue, and I hope that we live up to our words with those of our community members who are and identify as Native American.
I just want to give a second round of shout outs to Nancy and her team with their audit finding results, especially in the new electronic world of auditing. I know what that's like, not to the level that you do. So I just want to say thank you again for all your hard work in the electronic and your team in the format and coming back with the highest level opinion as usual. So appreciate all your hard work.
I'll go next.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say how appreciative I am of our student representatives. Dr. Bazzi and Sandra and I met with them, about 2 weeks ago, just to kind of touch base because we really haven't had a chance to do that. And I'm just really proud of how engaged they're staying with the rest of the students at UHS and FHS, just to kind of get a pulse of how the students feel about what's going on. And so I know that Dr. Bazzi has shared some of that with Ms. Maracna, and we'll continue to update the rest of the board soon with some of the things that they've shared with us. So hopefully at the December board meeting, committee of the whole, the student reps will be able to tell us a little bit more about what they shared with us.
I just wanted to just express the gratitude that I've had in observing and watching everyone work so hard to try to make sure that we're being mindful and taking care of each other as a community family. And my senior in high school has been doing wonderful, and I can't say enough to the teachers that are taking care of him and making sure that he's taken care of, from little things like OTEX showed up with a sign to put in our front yard, and other things that are special to like make his senior year stand out for him. And I just have a lot of gratitude to the Ferndale Schools family for how for all of you. I love you.
I will think I'm probably next there. I just want to say a thank you to the teachers and the admin and the students in the secondary level for their change in their schedule. I know most of the kids thought that Friday was part of the weekend, so I am appreciative that they now have that extra day of learning and touching base with their teachers. I know it was a big shift for the teachers to give up those office hours and meet with the kids on the rapid fire day on Fridays, but I think it's a great benefit for the kids and the teachers. And I will give I don't know, an advance thank you to the elementary teachers and staff for that change that's coming up for them in December. So that was a big help, I think, for our kids. So thank you very much to everyone that made that happen.
I just want to express my my gratitude for all the continued dedication and hard work by the staff, the teachers in particular, the faces for our students, as well as the administration who do all the work that enables the district to run. And also a thank you, continued thank you to all the parents, especially for those parents that are working hard to juggle their responsibilities, and as well as tend to our younger learners who are experiencing education over their computer screens. It's no easy task, and I don't think we can reference that enough. So thank you for your patience, and we will persevere.
I just echo what everyone has stated. I think the staff, administration, the board, the community, for their patience, compassion, and understanding as we work through this pandemic. And even with yesterday's news, everyone came together to work very quickly to still try and provide as much services as we can to our students, because we know that how important they are and how needed they are. So just thank you to everyone who I know are working weekends, evenings, doing their best under the current circumstances. So I thank everybody for their compassion, understanding, and patience.
All right, well, thank you all. This meeting of the Ferndale Board of Education is adjourned at 8:32 p.m.